Global Technology Sales Solutions recently sponsored the BizDev 360 Revenue Generation Executive Forum. The forum focused on determining the revenue impact of digital content marketing. Close to 200 senior executives from sales, marketing, and operations came together to exchange insights and suggestions on how to address this challenge. During the forum, the Global Technology Sales Solutions approach that has helped organizations determine the real revenue impact of digital content marketing was outlined. We hope you find the value in this presentation, and to learn more or to schedule a consultation, please go to gtssdna.com.
Well, welcome everybody. Greetings from Australia and from all around the world to all of you from all around the world, presenting on helping us to present BizDev 360's Revenue Generation Leadership Forum today. This is Peter Strokob. I'm the CEO of Peter Strokob Consulting, and I'm one of the two hosts on this forum today.
And good afternoon from Toronto. This is Sam Umani, Chief Revenue Officer of Global Technology Sales Solutions. Welcome, everyone.
So listen, welcome everybody, and to the people still joining us now, welcome. But I'll just like to give you a little background on BizDev 360 before we dive into what we hope and expect will be a lively discussion amongst all of us. Sam and I launched this forum to provide an executives a platform whereby we can come together, all of us, you, Sam, and I, to exchange insights and ideas on topics that affect your revenue generation. So this is a forum for everybody. This is a forum for you. And it is for anybody concerned about driving revenue from roles in marketing, in sales and operations, and of course for business owners. It is about you and your success. Sam and I are here to facilitate a conversation between the professionals, the practitioners, and the experts on the call. We're not here to tell you how to run your business. We're more interested in facilitating a discussion between all of us. And all of you will have the opportunity to contribute throughout the dialogue today and also walk away with the collective value that we all together produce in these forums. Again, let me say it again, this forum is for you.
Thank you, Peter. As Peter has mentioned, this forum is meant to be highly interactive and of value for everyone who participates. And the value process for this and for the future forums that we have scheduled is as follows. You basically have three opportunities where you can contribute your insights. First, through a pre-formed questionnaire that we would email out to you, and you should have all received that. Secondly, during the live discussion that we have, for example, now, we together will discuss what our peers have shared and exchange further insights. Now, after our live forum, you'll have a third opportunity to share your opinion via a post-forum questionnaire. And we highly encourage you to contribute your opinions via the, I guess it's called the Ask a Question field that's at the bottom of your screen at any moment throughout the forum. Now, we had well over 250 registrants, so we're expecting quite a volume of people in attendance today. And Peter and I are going to be monitoring this Ask a Question field area. So we'll do our best to address your comments. Now, if your comments or questions are not addressed during the live session, please be sure that we'll do so after the forum. Now, by no means does our insights hold greater value to yours. This is a collective. So please be ready to share your opinions. All insights shared before, during, and after the forum will be assembled in an informative report and delivered to all participants. The report will not contain any direct quotes unless you choose to notify us via email to let us know that it's okay to quote you by name in the report. Again, this is an opportunity for you all for all of us really, to gather as peers to hammer out ideas around these areas that affect revenue generation.
Yes, and that's right. And look, I just want to say it's really important that this is an interactive forum. So the more you participate and the more you type in and give us questions and answers and your opinions and your views and your perspectives, the better for all of us, really, right? So let's go to today's topic. So our focus today is on how we can determine the revenue impact of digital marketing. Now, digital marketing is a hot topic on the mind of a lot of executives today. But as many of you have told us in the pre-event questionnaire, most of you have seen a massive increase in funding into digital marketing, but you're still struggling to determine its real impact on revenue, like the actual relationship between digital marketing and the revenue that's coming in. So the goal today is to help you shed light on how you are addressing this issue in your organization at a strategic level, and also to share experiences in terms of how we can do better collectively. How best to execute digital marketing and implement automated marketing systems, though, is something we will cover, not today, we'll cover that in the future. So we're more talking about the concept of digital marketing and its impact on revenue generation, not so much about the nuts and bolts and the technology behind it. So I hope that's okay with you.
So everyone seems to agree that the buyer's journey has changed. Well-calibrated digital content marketing backed by powerful business intelligence is a powerful tool in the hands of marketing. And it is leading the charge to a whole new customer experience. We see that. We've seen the balance of marketing budget shift in favor of digital content marketing. We've also seen how top-of-funnel volumes have dramatically increased as well. Yet the challenge of showing profitability against the spend remains elusive. For the most part, sales recognizes the increases in volumes of marketing qualified leads that are being funneled to them. However, the value and contribution to the overall revenues generated are being questioned. Now, access to information has never been more easily available to potential customers. Unfortunately, content volumes have exploded, and prospects are being pummeled basically with more content than they'll ever read. Now, the concern for everyone here on the forum, and it should be, is how has this affected the customer experience, and what impact has it had on the funnel? Now, together on this forum, we can begin the process of determining the revenue impact of digital content marketing.
All right. Now, let's go to what you've told us. So firstly, thank you to everybody who responded to our pre-forum questionnaire, and then we had some great answers there in there. So what we'll do next is we'll go over what you have told us. And, you know, while we're at it, I'd like to remind everybody to just keep it interactive, and please type in your questions and your concerns. And if you don't agree with something, say so. And if you do agree with something, say so as well. So we want you to be part of this conversation. So you just type in at liberty.
And I'll add into that, Peter, real quickly, that for those folks that haven't responded back to these initial questions, we'd love your insights. And so I'm going to give you guys another opportunity we'll send out that email with the survey, again, with these same exact questions, and give us that feedback if you can.
Okay, so on the screen there, you could see the questions, and on this slide here, you can see some of your answers. Right, so I'd like you to take a moment and just have a look at the answers. Now, what it's basically telling us is that it's gaining acceptance that digital marketing has, in part, shifted the balance of responsibility in the buying cycle from sales to marketing. So marketing, in other words, is now getting more involved earlier and deeper into the buying cycle. And what we've seen in general from your responses is that there's a common acceptance that marketing has taken a greater role in supporting and diving deeper into the buyer's journey. And that is because technology and social media due to technology and social media, buyers now prefer to interact electronically first, and they only really like to engage a seller when they feel that they're ready. And this shift is affecting all of us, everyone here on the call, Sam and myself, and in our businesses, we're feeling it too. And if it's okay with you, I'm sure you'd like to have some thoughts on how this shift has impacted your organization, what you're doing about it, and what challenges have arisen for you. And we'll cover your comments sort of as they come through. Sam, you're going to say something?
Yeah, I certainly look forward to hearing the comments from the viewers here today. I mean, we have got a lineup of, of course, for privacy, we will not mention who's registered and so forth, but it's a who's who mix. And again, from both sides of the camp, sales and marketing, we've got operations folks. It's interesting to hear your feedback and your opinion about that buyer cycle shift in responsibilities. And again, your feedback is highly valued.
Yep. So I'll give you a few seconds to just type in your questions or your comments in terms of how this shift has impacted your organization. Or we should give you some thinking music. Sam, can you think of a good song?
Not at the moment, but I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and press forward, Peter, and I'm sure folks will start to answer as we go through this, I'm sure.
Yeah. All right. So just keep them coming. Keep them coming. All right. Now, it's widely accepted that marketing is now taking on a greater role in driving customer engagements further down the funnel. So no more just the top of the funnel. Let's chuck in some leads and hand them over to sales and hope for the best. Marketing and sales are actually driving together further down the funnel. We see this to a lesser degree, though, in certainly in B2B, but also in what's commonly referred to as house or named accounts. So new lead generation, yes, we see that sales and marketing are driving further down the funnel together. But when it comes to named accounts or house accounts or key accounts, it's often less the case. And it seems to be that wherever there's a direct ownership of the account, in other words, where there's an account manager in place, marketing plays a lesser role than in trying to get new, fresh leads from new logos. Let me ask you as the audience, what's been your experience in that regard? So I really encourage you to be interactive here and type in your responses on how this has affected you. Do you see the same thing? Do you have a different perspective on this? So come and talk to us.
And by the way, folks, when you do enter your comments, no one sees anything but, again, your first name, and actually nobody sees any comments, but Peter and I are the only ones that see that, but we'd have to read them off. So we will just read off your comments. So go ahead and feel free to go ahead and send that. Peter, the majority of the forum responders pretty much agreed with this statement. However, I think the audience would love to hear an opposing opinion, if you will. Anyone out there that care to voice a different perspective, we'd love to hear from you.
All right. So Sam said it. Start typing. Because this is like we said, this is your forum, and we want to respond to your inputs. And we're all practitioners here, so we should have plenty to contribute. All right. Now, while you're typing, I'll just carry on here. Actually, I want to respond to Sam, if you don't mind. I just want to respond to to perhaps not a controversial, but maybe an ancillary opinion. And that is what I've seen in our business is that organizations are now learning that they can't ignore their existing accounts and not just focus on new logos. They actually need to grow the existing customer base as well. And so a lot of organizations are now looking at how they can do that better, and they're adopting sort of account-based marketing principles, if not really diving into holy dollars into account-based marketing itself, but they're certainly reaching out to marketing to help them keep more engaged with either existing accounts or to penetrate new accounts. So there is a bit of a trend there, and I'd like to hear from the audience in terms of what have you seen and how does it work in your organization. And we've got some coming in now, so Sam, do you want to have a look at some of those?
Yeah, I do actually. Let's see here. The question here is, yes, I've experienced this in my current and previous companies. Curious to hear your thoughts on where lead, I guess it would be qualification, should live, sales or marketing. Well,
that's a perennial.
Good question. It's a good question. Well, the lead qualification is an ongoing process, right? So, it starts off with marketing, obviously, and I think the question here is, does it, when it comes to, if you're looking at it at an individual level, as opposed to, let's say, at an account level, there probably is a defining line. But when you look at an account level, it's an ongoing thing. So there are opportunities that will funnel through that hand over to sales, but marketing retains a relationship there. So the qualification process really is an ongoing thing. I hope that answers the question.
Well, I've got a kind of a view on this as well, Sam, if you don't mind.
Sure.
And that is, so in 2014, we undertook a study of 200 B2B organizations, 189 actually to be exact, B2B organizations, and we reached out to their sales leaders and their marketing leaders separately, and we asked them the same questions in terms of how well did they collaborate. And there's a 30-page report that I'll be happy to send you if you just type in your who you are and that you want to give us your email address, and I'll send it out to you. But the upshot was that those organizations where sales and marketing reported into one head, one leader, by far were financially much more successful than the ones that had a separate head of sales, separate head of marketing, that then each report into the COO or the CEO, right? But I have to give you one caveat. If that single head where sales and marketing report into is a dyed-in-the-wool sales leader, then marketing will be relegated to just top of the funnel lead generation, and sales will be the dominant part. If it is a total marketing head, then they won't have enough drive to make sales successful. So it very much depends on the qualities of the leader themselves, and they have to have a good understanding of both marketing and sales concepts and principles to be effective in that role. But if you find that person and you have both sales and marketing reporting into them, your chances of being financially more successful than your competitors are far greater.
It's an interesting question that came in here, Peter. Our business is B2C, but due to working with brick and mortar buying group, we cannot sell online. How can I gauge digital success without controlling any part of the sales funnel? We're actually going to show you that in the coming slides. We're actually going to give you, I'm going to give you an example of what we have done to help clients be able to basically assess the revenue impact uncontested. There's another comment here. It says, a lot of our strategy will be focused on marketing to existing accounts so that we gain further reach. Our customers are huge. Okay. Yeah, that's a very good example. We're going to talk about the customer segmentations and how, the marketing is really taken a thread into that. Let's go ahead and press forward, Peter, and Peter, great to see how we'll get back to this.
Sam, if you don't mind, I just want to comment on this last point, and that is that a lot of my clients tell me, we've penetrated this big account, say, I don't know, 3M, right? And in reality, they are dealing with one tiny part of 3M. They haven't penetrated the entire account. But because they've acquired that logo, they go, that's done. Now we need to go to a new one and find fresh ones. But any sort of statistics out there will tell you that it's far easier to get more revenue from an existing client than to win over a new client. So farming your existing base is a very smart thing to do, and I commend you. Can I just say, if you want us to identify who said what, you can put your name to your answers, even if it's just your first name, just so we can address them one by one. All right. So, Sam, I'm going to move on.
Yeah.
And just tell you that that in B2B organizations, the challenge of directly aligning your revenue to your digital content investment is far greater than for B2C. So it's harder in B2B than in B2C to find attribution. And that's mainly due to the fact that in B2B, the sales is different. The sales cycles are longer, there are more decision makers involved, and the sales process is more complex. So it's harder in B2B than in B2C. If you have somebody just clicking on the website and going through a payment portal to buy something, you can measure it much more directly than if you have multiple decision makers involved and different perspectives on life, and if the sales cycle is longer. And by the way, the sales cycle is not necessarily linear any longer. People sort of go forth and back and forth as they weigh off their options and look at their alternatives. So the old linear sales cycle is pretty much non-existent these days. But what we were able to assess from your feedback is that there seems to be a growing trend of sales and marketing working closer together to address these issues. So it's really refreshing to see that sales and marketing, at least in some organizations, are working more effectively together. And in my life, I often joke that sales and marketing teams often talk more about each other than to each other, and start pointing the finger saying your leads are no good, or you guys are too lazy to follow them up. So it's great to see that collaboration coming a bit more to the fore. It's a sign because not so far back now, sales and marketing used to be, and in some organizations still are, working independently in their separate silos. Like I said, not talking to each other, but more talking about each other. But what did you believe is driving this growing cooperation? So now, if you keep typing in and tell us your thoughts about how you are driving this collaboration between sales and marketing, and how well it's working or not working in your organization. And while you're doing that, let me talk to you about some of the other things that you stated, namely that despite greater cooperation between sales and marketing, many organizations have yet to successfully align revenue to digital marketing in a tangible way. So we're talking about digital marketing and how you can attribute your revenue, your sales revenue, to the digital marketing efforts. And many of you tell us that you still have problems directly correlating one to the other. And often some of you say that it's the lack of access to the right data that's the problem, while others have said that technology integration is an inhibitor for this as well. And just a few of you have said that not having the right access to data in terms of data rights, data access rights, is the barrier. So we'd like you to keep in typing and telling us how this is a challenge in your organization and how you're resolving it as well.
Yeah, we're seeing some great comments coming through, and again, some of it might take us off of our scope, but and some of them are fantastic. I got to tell you, if you are open to allowing us to include that in our report, just let us know. Please let us know so that we can include that. Again, your position does not have to agree with us. This is a collective, and so it is. I love it when I see opinions that enhance what we're saying and also could conflict with what we're saying as well. This is where we can come to as a group in a better agreement and walk away with some value.
Yeah, that's right. We're not looking for groupthink, right? We're looking for actual insights, what you're seeing in your own organization, whether that's working or not working. We want to warts and all, because we want to be able to help each other here to do better in the future. So tell us how it really is, and if you like, put your name to it. That's fantastic. And as Sam said, there will be a post-event report that we'll email to each of you, encapsulating some of your comments and our responses as well. Sorry, Sam, you can.
Okay, wonderful. So, the integration between marketing and sales systems to enable tracking and the determination of revenue impact from marketing investments is still kind of a work in progress for many. A process can be devised, and I'm sure some of you already have a process in place, but what we've come across is a process whereby through custom reporting and data correlation, it can enable a very good level of revenue impact determination. Now, what I'm about to review with you is a technique that we deploy to help customers achieve a better line of visibility to revenue for their digital and other marketing investments. And it's what we call establishing the revenue attribution model.
This is very exciting, Sam. I'm really keen for you to talk about this, because I reckon this is something that can really help our audience today.
Mm-hmm. I'd love to hear the feedback from the folks all across on this, because I know there's a lot of folks, their specialties are in this area, and I'm really looking forward to hearing comments around this. Now, please note that this is just part of the solution that we deploy, and I share this with you with the hopes that it will encourage you to share your knowledge with the group. And again, I welcome questions at any time while we go through this. Now, as I mentioned earlier, a process can be devised with automatic reporting and data correlation to enable a good level of revenue impact determination. Waiting for an integration of systems and report programming to automatically give you this visibility will probably prove to be very time-consuming and probably some level of frustrating as well. Now, while you can work to attain that goal, the sources of the data that's needed already exists in many of these four systems that you see on your screen. Now, a commitment is needed by all parties to ensure that the consistent access to the most up-to-date reports possible is happening, okay? The data assets from each of the four sources are needed in order to establish what I like to call the unified view of the customer situation. Now, you may leverage additional sources for your organization, and we'd really appreciate you sharing your ideas as to, the type of systems and things that you access in order to get visibility. Now, your CRM and financial systems provide the data on revenues generated. Your marketing automation and web analytics provide you the data on marketing activities that touch the accounts. Now, working with either an internal or external data experts, the marketing impressions need to be mapped to their respective accounts. Now, on a future forum, we'll take you through specific examples of pulling that data from popular marketing automation systems such as Eloqua and Marketo, and then from CRMs like Salesforce, and how and what specific data gets mapped to accounts. Now, for this forum, we'll cover some high-level actions that need to take place to enable revenue impact determination. And I hope everyone here on the forum, and there's many of us on the forum here today, that you will contribute with us on that discussion via the chat screen and give us your insights. Share your insights with your peers, and especially let us know
Sam,
if we can include that on our report by name.
Yeah. And Sam, there's some questions coming through where they're actually asking they're asking for specific answers from us. So,
Okay.
So people, I was really going to say folks.
Yeah.
So folks, if you want us to come back to you individually and answer your specific question, at the moment we can't see your names, right? When you type in your answer, your questions, we cannot see who you are, right? Which is a good thing. But if you want us to come back to you specifically, can you please put your name and your email address or your contact details in there, and Sam and I will do our best to answer just you specifically with on your particular question, right? So you have that opportunity, but you got to let us know who you are. Sorry, Sam, you keep going.
No worries. And of course, in our post-forum outreach, you'll have our full contact information to reach out to us individually as well. And these are great questions I'm seeing here. And I'll look back, Peter, to go back through these as well and address some of these live for everyone on the forum. Fantastic comments here. And thank you again for that. Moving along now, what must happen first to enable a revenue attribution model to work? Now, the following steps are those that should be taken to set the stage for a fair evaluation of digital marketing's impact on sales. Now, the same exercise applies to other marketing investments. You know, any money spent should be aligned to a revenue goal and an ability to gauge tangible revenue results if there's any. Okay. Now, why is account segmentation critical to revenue alignment? Marketing's interaction with accounts should vary depending on the customer segment. In other words, what marketing does with named accounts or house accounts, whatever you choose to call them, where sales are directly involved is different, let's say with target accounts or white space accounts, or you may call them greenfield accounts, or SMB accounts, where direct sales representation is minimal. Now, every organization handles customer segmentation differently. Okay, we recognize that, and some divide accounts based on company sizes, based on number of employees, or reported revenue, or geography even. Now, what we recommend is segmenting based on potential business volume. Now, it really comes back to really knowing your ideal customer persona, not just at an individual level, but at an organizational level as well. And I'll show you shortly how the account segmentation plays into the exercise of determining the weighted value of marketing's interactions. Now, establishing a revenue threshold refers to the revenue volume that must be attained for an account to gain direct sales representation. I'm sure most of you folks on the line here are familiar with that. In other words, how much business must an account consistently provide in order to justify a dedicated headcount being assigned to them? Now, every organization determines that number differently based on many factors, including their average costs associated with retaining sales and account management talent. Now, you next need to establish a point system that gives marketing a way to assess the level of credit that can be given for revenues. And sales management needs to formally agree to these figures. So with this in hand, and I'm going to show you an example of this, with this in hand, marketing can lay an uncontested claim to revenue success. And we'll give you an example here shortly. Now, nothing signifies confidence in your resolve than showing the true costs associated with your marketing activities beyond the obvious. Okay, costs associated with the engagement of opportunities across all channels is a very good way to illustrate a commitment to not only showing revenues, but absolute profitability. And these are costs like labor costs involved in engaging these leads that marketing produces, operational costs involved in processing and storing the data. The following provides a listing of the most common marketing metrics in use today. The impact of these KPIs is dramatically increased when they're backed by revenue figures applying the revenue attribution model that I'm going to show you here in a moment. And folks, again, just a reminder, please continue to bring those comments in here and supplement what I'm saying, or even contest it is fine. It's all great stuff. Now, the following is an example of an enterprise organization that targets a wide universe of addressable market, or addressable customer market. There's no new threshold that is needed for named accounts or house accounts, because they should have already met that threshold and have and are directly managed by sales. Small and medium businesses, by its purest sense, can never attain the threshold, even if they provide you their entire available spend. Now, collectively, small and medium businesses represent certainly a highly valuable customer segment. However, marketing is limited as to what they can do to advance the relationship with these accounts due to their revenue-generating capacities. Now, the revenue threshold is most applicable for those accounts that we refer to as target accounts for penetration, or TAP accounts. Now, I'm not sure if there's folks on the line here that leverage that same terminology. Some call them white space accounts, or there are other names, but mostly they're comprised of accounts that can become named or house accounts if they provide their fair share of business to the point of the threshold. Now, these TAP accounts prove to be the prized targets of marketing that require the highest levels of marketing sophistication and advanced account-based marketing strategies that's possible to successfully penetrate and expand the business relationships. Now, in this example, you can see that we set the revenue threshold for the TAP account at $50 million. Every organization will have their own thresholds where the primary ownership of engagement responsibility shifts from marketing to sales. Now, I'll just make a note here. When I say shift, it doesn't mean that it ends. It just means the primary. Now, after the threshold is reached, marketing takes on a more supportive role within the account, as they would with other named or house accounts. Now, please don't hesitate to ask any questions. Again, if I'm not able to address them during the forum, I'll be sure to answer them offline. And again, those comments that are adding to what I'm saying here, please let me know. You'll see an email from me. Reply back. Let me know if your comments can be used in the report by name or not.
Yeah, and Sam, what I like about this attribution model that you're talking about is that it applies a bit of rigor for both sales and marketing in terms of the rules of engagement, and when it's worth doing something and when it's not. So it's a bit like starting out with the good old segmentation, targeting, and positioning, and then deciding which accounts what activities you're undertaking and which are not worth. So it really helps you to focus your attention and your efforts on the right target. So it's Absolutely. A great model. I love it.
Well, you know, it helps an executive vice president in marketing to go into a quarterly business review, Peter, from a position of strength with uncontested reports to revenue against the spend. And that's a very powerful position to be in. That's where we strive really to get customers there. Now, the maximum weighted marketing contribution value is a negotiated rate, as I mentioned, between sales and marketing. Both have to agree. And it's what allots to marketing the maximum percentage of credit that can be attributed for revenue generated by sales win. Okay, so named and house accounts tend to have the smallest weighted contribution value. And that's because it is assumed that sales, because of their embedded relationship within these accounts, will hold a stronger position of influence on revenue. With small and medium accounts, direct sales representation is less or minimum, or in some cases non-existent. And for some organizations, the channel picks up the bulk of the engagement responsibilities within the small and medium businesses. Now, because of this fact, marketing should enjoy a larger value of credit for the revenue generated within this SMB customer segment. This, of course, can be further tempered by segmenting the SMB accounts by pre-existing levels of relationships, if you will. You have that option as well. Now, the target accounts, or as we call the TAP accounts, are the customer segment that need the most careful evaluation and tend to be the most challenging to get agreement between sales and marketing as to what should be the maximum weighted percentage that should be assigned for these accounts for marketing. And marketing needs to stand firm on gaining a healthy maximum weighted contribution value when they deploy a very sophisticated EBM strategy. Now, what we suggest for our clients is that they strive for 30%. Okay, let me just go ahead and move here, and I definitely want to go through some questions here. Now, what you're seeing here, as I mentioned earlier, the weighted marketing contribution matrix is a negotiated table that assigns credit to marketing for every marketing activity directly associated to a revenue item. Now, the one area within the chart you'll notice first is that under the named or house accounts, telesales is listed as non-applicable. And you might ask me, well, why is the case? And I probably will see questions right now, Peter, flowing there. Why is that? Okay. Well, in my opinion, no third party or telesales organization should be engaging named house accounts, with the exception of pre-approved activities by the sales account management team. So it's a very specific engagement, but not a broad one, okay? So organizations may choose to assign a value here, and if that's the case, we recommend a value near to 1.0 maximum, okay? Now, with the revenue attribution model in place, along with your unified customer view, you can lay claim to revenues against marketing spend. Okay, I'm going to stop here because I've thrown a lot at you guys, and I want to be able to field some of the questions related to these specific slides. Give me a minute to read here through some of these. Peter, did you pick up on anything that's specific to here while we were going through this?
Yeah, look, I think, you know, it may sound a bit technical, what you talked about, but you know, if you want to measure anything, you've got to apply techniques, right? And so what Sam's talking about here is that you basically attribute a value to every effort, every activity that you undertake, and you agree between sales and marketing who's doing what, and more importantly, when it's worth doing. So it really gives you that a bit of control in terms of how best to utilize your resources and get that alignment between sales and marketing going, and very importantly in the terms of the subject today, to help you attribute your sales revenue to the effort that you've undertaken in your digital marketing. So yes, it may be a bit dry sounding and a bit technical, but it's quite important that you can actually put your finger on the pulse and measure what you're doing and how it's relating to actual revenue generation.
Definitely. One of the attendees actually asked, you know, when you have a large named accounts with teams managing the relationships and sales, how do you suggest a handoff from marketing to sales of a lead to give credit? Often MQLs MQLs, marketing qualified leads, are rejected as they already knew about that in my account. And sales account managers do not want to appear out of the loop on an account they own. Yeah, I mean that's you know, that's been our traditional, you know, sales and marketing. What have you done for us? And one of the things is, again, it is at the most senior levels is on both camps to come to an agreement on the weighted marketing contribution value that can be assigned to marketing for activities. Now, we know that because the strength of the relationship lies with sales. They're the embedded relationships. They're the current boots on the ground within the account that have the personal relationship with these folks, okay? And yet there's a heavy reliance on marketing to continue to build awareness, cross-sell, upsell within these accounts. How do you get that handoff around? Well, that comes back to data, getting access to the data. That has to be negotiated, right? It has to be established that you should have a clear visibility on the pipeline through the CRM and through even the financial systems, okay? And some companies are a little hesitant to allow that access to marketing. But literally that level of access, and it's one of the key areas that I think it was at Forrester that reported that CMOs, for the most part, that was their issue that they raised, is the lack of accessibility to that type of information to allow them to be able to get in there. It is a fight that has to happen. It is an agreement that has to occur, and it does help sales as well. Again, it is a matter of meeting to the minds to understand the value proposition around why should we give marketing this access, what will be done with it exactly. Well, we're going to weigh our contribution with you guys so that we can go back on our spend and justify our spend against in terms of revenue, okay? Because we all know, for those of you that are senior marketing executives, going into a quarterly review with impressions, click-throughs, and those kind of marketing KPIs are not resonating with the bean counters, okay? They only care about two things, revenue and cost.
And Sam, you know, Sam, the other thing is that I want to get away from this us and them. You know, what does marketing do for us? What does sales do with the stuff we give them? You know, I talk a lot about marketing. You know, sales and marketing actually working together on a common goal. And I really, my philosophy is to break down the barriers and to get away from, you know, marketing doesn't do enough for us, or sales is too lazy to follow up, or you know, they don't understand us. You know, whatever it is. I just think they should work together more effectively. But also, I just want to let the people here know that the next webinar that we're going to run in February is drilling down on this subject more, and we're going to be talking about understanding why most marketing leads fail to help sales, and you know, and vice versa. So we guys, we will be drilling down on this a bit more in the next forum. But right now we're talking about the contribution that digital marketing can make to revenue.
Just for the interest of time, Peter, I know we're looking at the clock. We only got 4 more minutes.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and press forward.
Yeah.
And I'm certainly going to come back to address everyone's questions here.
Yeah. Look, because this is the first time that we're online and talking to you, we're really interested in your opinions. And I urge you to type in, what was the most valuable takeaway from today that you got out of it? What thoughts did it give you? What inspiration did it give you? What really cheesed you off? You know, give it to us. You know, warts and all. Tell us what you thought of today and what the most valuable thing was for you. We've got nearly 200 executives on the forum here, and I'd like to remind you that this is your chance to actually ask questions, to provide comments, and to give tips to the other guys here on the forum. It's because we want it to be interactive. We want it to be yours and not just you know, a monologue with Sam and myself. Also, we'd like to know what challenges you've got that we haven't touched on yet, because we're going to maybe address them in future forums if we get strong enough requests for these. So tell us where things are not going well for you, and where you would like to have a bit of advice and input from your peers on the forum. That'd be awesome if we can collaborate like that. I'd also like to remind you that there will be a post-forum email going out to you with a report. Give us you know, a couple of days, 48 hours to do that. And in that report, we will share your insights and your comments, and we will try to answer some of the questions here that you've put in today in the post-event report that we'll be sending to you.
I'm certainly looking forward to that.
Sorry?
And certainly it's a value to everyone involved, because the more you contribute, the more collective we can be able to assess that and provide that to everyone that participates. I'm sure everyone's, you know, because this is a forum of peers, you're not hearing, you heard my opinion on this webinar. I presented that to you all, but I'm looking for you all to provide your insights as well. It's a collective, okay? And it's a who's who on in this webinar, really. And you all have expertise. And so can you imagine the value that each one of you can provide to your peers here around this challenge that really challenges the entire industry? Okay, what we can collectively provide back as a best practice. Okay, I gave you one example. You're going to have a copy of this. It's going to be available on demand, so you can go back and review that model. You can certainly reach out to me and say, Sam, let me pick your brains on this. I want to go deeper dive. How can I deploy this, or can it be deployed within my company? You know, but imagine what our collective can do. Okay,
absolutely.
And that's what really this is what this is all about.
And I'd like to remind everybody to register for the next webinar in February. And also, if you like today's format, you know, if you liked what you experienced in the last 45 minutes, then please go ahead and recommend it to your peers, friends, colleagues, you know, family members, or whoever. Tell them this is a great forum, and encourage them to join us in February for the next one, where we're going to be talking about why sales leads do not turn into revenue when marketing and sales don't work together well.
Yep, and as Peter mentioned, the next forum is February the 6th, and as he mentioned, the focus is going to be on understanding why marketing leads fail to help sales. You can imagine the kind of heated discussion we'll have. We want to see, again, a similar audience here in terms of sales and marketing representation on both camps to come in, and we're going to collectively assess that. I think it'll be a great forum.
No, fantastic. So look, folks, recommend it to everybody, to your friends, colleagues, peers, and we look forward to seeing you in the next forum, and we'll be sending out the post-event report in the next couple of days. So thank you for joining us, and give us your comments in terms of what you thought about it. Sam?
Yes, thank you very much, everyone, for attending, and I look forward to everyone's feedback on the survey insights that we're going to be sending out to you all. Make your point, make your opinion, present it, and let us know if we can include that in the report to your peers. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.